I mean, another question I had was actually a little bit technical. So about the data ownership, making sure that the data belongs to the owner. And then, I mean, how does it work, you know? I mean, it's going to be a local storage, and then you hash the data. I mean, how does it work, you know, the data? Because the data is the most important part of your business, right?
So we have
the traffic.
Well, the data is the most important part of our business. What we do is we provide you with an app. This app helps you to get a hold of your data. You are the owner of this data.
Right.
So it helps you to get this data. It is then being anonymized. So we throw away, we actually ignore whatever is considered to be as identifiable for you. Okay. And then this data is being uploaded to our data repository.
All right.
To be later be accessed by those other companies, which we are also building one of them.
Then the repository is centralized?
The repository would start as a centralized. Yeah, we are looking at some of the decentralized solution for data.
Okay.
Right. So we would make sure it actually works. So we're starting.
I mean, you know what I think. You know, if you want to have 100% ownership of your data, actually, what I can think of is my data has to be very near me. You understand what I'm saying, right? For instance, on my computer, for instance, that's my data.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
but once I give it to a, I don't know, centralized distributed, database, in that case, I lose, actually, how can I make sure that I get it?
So, I'm not sure you want to have your data on your laptop and then whenever you go to sleep in any way, so nobody can access that, or you want people to access your laptop in any way. That scares me a little bit. But I think when you look at the infrastructure of the web, I'm not sure that in that sense China is more near than the U.S. right now. Okay, everything is pretty much there instantly. So I think it's about securing the data, making sure you are the owner. You can prevent anyone from using it, right? You can opt out from different companies or marketers wanting to access your data, right? And as we go, and the decentralized storing solution, Filecoin, SIA, storage, would go into a more, I would say, significant part in their doings, right? So we would consider using
because my question is, it's just a general question. It's not only confined to your protocol. It's confined to every data management protocol or dApps, whatever. Because in that case, what I can see is that the blockchain will do some good when it comes to the token payments, because you need a blockchain to distribute the tokens according to the plan.
Right.
But the data itself, I mean, I don't see the difference using just AWS, for instance, a distributed database. You put it in there, you get the data from the customer, and then you pay them by tokens, for instance. You understand what I'm saying, right? Because the data is not actually held by the users in this decentralized community, but the data is actually concentrated on the centralized database.
Yeah, I'm not saying it is not. I'm just saying according to the different phases of the project, right? So we want to make sure first off that this is a robust data center, right? So as we all know, it would take a little bit more time for this to be decentralized entirely, but this is one of our plans. So we would have that, pretty much so. But there are some phases. So we start off by doing this, and then we move on. So we have an ongoing discussions with some of the companies I've mentioned. So obviously we would be there, right? And we would be 100% decentralized, right? But you have to start somewhere. So the concept is there. You're pretty much right.
Okay. So by the way, apart from the token payments, is there any other use and the data encryption and the token? Except that, is there any other usage of the blockchain?
Of course. The blockchain allows you the level of transparency that is required by marketers to make sure what they're paying for the data is actually what they're getting, right? Which can sound very reasonable to us, but this is not the case today, right? Ad dollars are going into black boxes. Nobody knows. But some of the largest, one of the largest agencies in the world just pulled out $200 million right, outside this ecosystem because no one can verify this data. So this is what the blockchain, amazing thing when you come to look into how blockchain helps the advertising world.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, that's right because, you know, I mean, the data owner can track actually the token movements, you know, for instance. But what about, I mean, it should be more like, you know, I give the data, right? I give the data, and then according to that, the data will have a price, and then I get the token, right?
Right.
I mean, the user should be able to see this process, right?
Right.
So is that provided?
It is provided. You can also look at what companies were buying your data, right? This is not something that you could do today.
And
so
that's through the blockchain?
That's through the blockchain, definitely. So when you review that through the interface that you're getting, so you can say, I don't want any longer to make my data available to that company, right? This is no way anything that you can actually grasp today.
Yeah, right? But anyway, there's still the thing, right? Because, you know, the data will be centralized first in some kind of a data escrow system, right?
And then 3 months, yes.
Yeah, in that case, you know, there's always the chance that, you know, actually the data is not. I'm not saying that, you know, it would be the case, but from a, you know, data owner perspective, right, he can, you know, kind of think that, you know, maybe there were actually sales going on, but, you know, these guys, you know, they shaded away, you know, they're not showing it. I mean, they can have the skepticism. That's what I'm saying, you know.
Right. So this is why I'm standing here with you today, and making sure that we are, in the very same way like any other blockchain,
all right,
we are fully transparent with the people that we would like to call to use our platform. So this is our roadmap. We build it step by step. We're here to stay, right? And we are all in for gaining your trust. And we take different measures to
because
make sure.
What I think, you know, if there's a blockchain, you know, if you use it like a P2P, it's P2P, you know, from the data owner to the company, and, you know, you send the data, and then you get the what is that? The token. You know, there's an escrow system in between, and it goes like that. But I didn't hear something like that. Of course, you know, technologically, you have to think about how you want to, you know, realize it actually. But I mean, is that direction that you will go in the future?
So I'm not sure I followed you.
Well, what I'm saying is that, you know, the most idealistic blockchain process of data, you know, payment, transference and payment is actually the data goes and then the token comes, and on both sides can see it very transparently.
Right.
And then, you know, there's no chance that one side will default, because there's some kind of holding escrow kind of, you know, mechanism that, like a distribution smart contract, you know, once, you know, it gets the data, it sends the token, for instance, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is how it actually works, right? It works this way.
All right.
We wouldn't dive into the fine details of how the advertising ecosystem works, right? Where you store the different cookies or the data about the user, but the way we were structuring it from day one is exactly how.
Oh, okay. So I misunderstood that. Right. So this you know, this data repository, it is just holding the data for one-time transaction. It's not keeping the user's data in here, right?
Look, the advertising, the way it works is you have like billions of requests coming in and out, right? Like this. Each and every impression is an additional use of the data. Right. Right? So what we do is we make sure that every time someone buys your data, you're instantly getting rewarded. Okay? All right.
And of course, just for the last word, all this process, including my data in the repository, and who it to where it goes, it's all recorded on the blockchain.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah. This is what we're building. I mean, that's like a super important thing to understand. Yeah. This is how user can look into the path of data.
All right.
They can stop it. They can delete it. They can track it.
All right.
They can vote not to do it this way anymore. And same applies for the advertisers. Right. And it has a lot of value to the advertisers.
And I mean, I think, you know, your team must be very strong. You know, I know that already you are an advertising guru and you have, you know, marketing guys on your board. Right. But what about the technology side, like blockchain, or not only blockchain, because this technology is like a combination of various things. So can you brag about your team?
So yeah, we have a very experienced team of people, right? They've been working on blockchain. They've been working on advertising and the combination with them. Right. We're getting some help from some guys that are pretty heavy on the blockchain.
You're outsourcing the
guys.
process?
We're not outsourcing the project. We have a core R&D team inside the company. We are also using some help from other experts outside.
Okay.
Right? To make sure that we are, on the right course of making it work perfectly, because the challenge is amazing. So it's a combination, but for the most part of it, whether it's R&D or marketing, product, we do that everything inside the company. Right?
Okay. So I mean, what about the partnership situation right now? I mean, how is it going? I mean, you must have been very busy to actually, pitch your idea to these companies so that they would come on board, these advertising companies, or, I can't think of, but there will be a lot of, needs for other companies as well. So how is it going? I mean, how do you promote your platform to them?
So, yeah, we are working hard on the partnership side. Surprising or not, this pitch is well received, right? Because there is a true pain in the industry in terms of dealing with data. Right. So not only that there is a really issue to provide remedy to, but we also know the people we approach to. Right. So those are people that I've been working with for the last 10 years.
All right.
Right. So this problem is pretty much known for everybody. The solution is quite robust for doing that. We're pitching them. We have announced a partnership, I think it was a few days ago. We would be announcing more, right? We are negotiating the partnerships right now. So yeah, this is definitely something that we look into. I was now traveling through Hong Kong, Japan, and now South Korea. We meet with media companies, right? We're building the product. Right, so we're meeting with the largest agencies around. They understand the value of the product. We negotiate in how they can be part of it. Right? Yeah. So we're excited about that.
Then what about companies? Because these advertising companies will have deep pockets. Not everybody, but there will be many wealthy agencies and companies. And if they were, why wouldn't they just build their own dApp? And they are actually, platforms. They building the dApp to buy tokens, the data from owners, compensate them, right?
So the thing about the advertisers and the ad agency, so you would see less technology within these companies because they know how to manage budgets, right, and manage advertising activity. But usually they wouldn't hold like tech teams within the largest ad agencies out there, right? Some of them would, but again, if you have something that actually works, right, and it has an ecosystem, and all loose ends are tied together, so I wouldn't think that it would be a reasonable business decision to say I'm building something of my own, right? And you can see the largest companies in the world, how they grow. They keep on buying companies. Right? Because it's much more easier for a company like ourselves, being agile, being fast, moving on to new technology, creating new stuff, and then for someone else to buy. But, yeah, we're not selling, okay? We are establishing this company to stay. It's a non-profit company. It's not on the shelf. This is part of the trust that we're building with the users, okay? So we're not selling the company in any way. But obviously I see from the feedback I'm getting while talking with ad agencies, they might as well, skip the difficulties and trying to reinvent the wheels. I
mean, that's the very concept of, protocol.
Right.
But is your protocol the first of its kind, or did you see any similar protocols?
So we're seeing similar concepts, right? And none of which are actually providing this kind of a wide ecosystem of companies, welcome them, but that the concept is there, and it's good, because there's, to a certain level, education is required, right? Not all users know that this is their data to begin with, so that's fine, that's fine with us. There's some, differences that when you look into the companies, but data is hot, right? It's very important for users all over the world. So I would expect more and more companies to step in and do something. Whether or not they will succeed, time will tell.
Okay. And how do you see your competition against, juggernauts like, Amazon, because Amazon is one of the biggest, data company, right? I mean, it's in direct competition with you, actually.
Well, we don't see them as a direct competition in any way, because what they do is they generate, or they collect the data that we as a user generate, right? And as long as they're forced to share this data with you and me right now. So basically, in a way, it's like it's a partner for us. We don't compete with them in any way. We just make sure that some other users will also enjoy the party, right? So Google or Facebook or Amazon, eBay, and so on and so forth, they're not our competitors in any way.
Okay, so it's more like
they're facilitators.
I don't know, maybe. Or maybe you will buy Amazon.
I hope
Get
so.
rich enough.
I don't think so, but we have our own challenges before we're gonna do that.
Right.
But you never know. Keep in touch.
Yeah. So is there any last word for the Korean investor community that you want to, I don't know, maybe say?
Yes, I had something in mind. It's 감사합니다.
Okay. That's the best word. I mean, that's the most important word. Wherever we go. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Koby.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Excellent, guys.